All right, I do have another DCEU update for you guys today. And this comes off the heel of the video I did yesterday. And that video is now my most watched DCEU update. And I wanted to clarify a few things because that video got people talking, and I wanted to address mainly the Batman story with Matt Reeves getting the first look deal with, Warner Brothers Discovery. I'm going to pull up the article. We're going to look at the article, and I'm going to talk about what it means for Matt Reeves, for the Batman franchise that he started, as well as Affleck, and what's going on with his return with these movies that are being reshot, some of the scenes being reshot. And I'm going to talk about what this means overall going forward. So let's jump over to that article. So Deadline was the first one to report this, and the Batman director Matt Reeves sets multi-year first-look film deal at Warner Brothers and re-ups with Warner Brothers Television. Now, the first thing I want to talk about before I even look at this article is people got mad at me yesterday saying I made it sound like the Batman 2 was never going to happen. I never said that. I didn't insinuate that, and that was not my intent. I actually enjoyed the Batman. I see it as a very flawed movie. It is not my favorite film. I still like Ben Affleck as Batman more than anybody. I would put the Nolan trilogy as my second favorite, and then this would come in the back, and then I would finish up with, Michael Keaton, and then Val Kilmer, and finally, we won't even talk about that last film. But these movies, I enjoyed the Batman, but to me it's a very flawed, and the reason it's flawed for me is because when they do move forward with the Batman 2, there's going to have to be a lot of growth with this character. He was a slow-talking, slow-moving, just a cathartic type of Batman. And Batman's more vicious, more in your face. I mean, the Batman would never walk up to the Iceberg Lounge and knock on the front door. So I had some creative issues with what they did with Batman in that film. But I don't hate it. I do enjoy it. I haven't bought it, and that tells you something. But it's not my favorite film, and honestly, they did advertise the crap out of that movie, and I don't even know how they could make a profit off of it with as much as they advertised it. I have never seen Warner Brothers advertise a movie like they did the Batman. It was freaking everywhere. And so I'd like to see what the advertising budget was and what they actually made on it, because I know he made it for less money than most films, but they're really going to have to make the second one some major growth with that character. I don't want the same type of Batman in the next movie. But let's look at what this article says. Warner Brothers is going all in on the Batman director Matt Reeves and his 6th and Idaho production company. He has become the first filmmaker giving an overall first-look deal since Warner Brothers Pictures Group co-chair CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy were hired by Warner Brothers Discovery chief David Zaslav to steer the film division. In addition, Reeves has re-upped with the Warner Brothers Television Group and chairman Channing Dungey, where he is also working on the Batman spin-off series The Penguin with Colin Farrell. All right, what does this mean? Well, this means exactly what I said in my last update. They are getting first dibs on anything Reeves does as a director, producer, writer, or otherwise. And they look at he's the first one to sign on, okay? They haven't announced any other signings or any big things, but this comes at a very opportune time for Warner Brothers Discovery because people were waiting for them to make the first move, and this is definitely the first move. And they want to make Reeves, make Warner Brothers Discovery Reeves' home like they're doing with Todd Phillips, with the Hangover and the Joker franchises, and also what they've done with Clint Eastwood for his, basically his entire career. Reeves is pretty excited to work with the team again, and it goes to what I said here yesterday. Under the terms of the film deal, Warner Brothers Pictures Group's production divisions, Warner Brothers Pictures, New Line Cinema, Warner Animation Group, and DC-based films will have first-look rights to Reeves' work as a writer, director, and/or producer. So they go on to talk about how he is working on the sequel to the Batman, as well as the Penguin show that's going to air on HBO Max, and the Arkham Asylum show that will be coming out as well. And what I didn't know is he was also part of, working on the Batman show the Capes Crusader, the animated show. He was a part of that as well, and he's still going to be a part of that. And people don't understand that that show was not canceled. It's still in production, but it is going to be shopped elsewhere, probably to be picked up by Netflix is going to be my guess. I figure that's probably going to be first place since they have The Sandman, which was a really good show. If you guys haven't seen The Sandman, I still got to do my review on that. It's a pretty awesome show. But basically what's happening is Warner Brothers Discovery owns Matt Reeves at this stage. And that's what you guys need to understand. And that's exactly what I said in my review yesterday, or in my update yesterday. I never said he wasn't going to be doing the Batman 2. I knew that those things were coming, but I hadn't read the full article. I was just bringing up the news that was coming in fast and furious. And this did break yesterday. And so this was something that I hadn't dug into just yet, and I wanted to get my update up. If I talked about this too, that update could have been a half an hour long. So let's talk about what this means for the DCEU. Does this mean that Affleck is out and that they're going to be building a new franchise with Pattinson and Reeves? No, it does not. I honestly think that the Batman is going to stay in its own universe, kind of like what Nolan did. I don't see Superman fitting into that universe. It's more grounded, and I think it's going to be more appropriate for the materials that they're doing. Does this mean that Affleck will not be the DCU Batman going forward? No, it doesn't mean that either. They can have multiple Batmans on screen at the same time if they're successful in bringing them in money. Why would they turn away from that? That would be a smart business decision. And I do believe that Affleck will be the true DCEU universe Batman going forward because they are having him come back to do scenes for The Flash. They're retooling that whole thing, and that's the last film that's on the slate before anything else new is coming out. You know, the Joker 2 will be coming out after that, as well as the Batman 2, but they have yet to announce any other true DCEU films that are going to be connected to what has already been created for their 10-year plan. I do not think the 10-year plan is going to be building off just the Batman franchise. I think that when they talk about a 10-year plan with these characters, I think it's going to be continuing on with what Zack Snyder started. Not necessarily with Zack Snyder always involved. I think he will be involved to some degree, but I don't think he's always going to be involved. But I don't see them building the ground up using the Batman. Some people are, want to believe that that's going to happen, but that's what I don't see that happening. With them doing the Penguin on HBO Max and the Arkham series, I do see a bright future for the Batman, and I'm looking forward to it if they do it well. But there has to be some growth with that character. And I don't know how they're going to have the Penguin show without having Batman in there. They're going to have Pattinson in there at some point, and he's going to have to cameo in there, unless it's like just a 6-episode thing that has nothing to do with Batman at all. But we're going to see how that all pans out, but that is coming. But the Ben Affleck stuff is also coming. And they're not going to spend all that money to bring him back and get him to come back in if they're not going to be utilizing him more in the future. So as a DC fan, this makes me happy. We're going to get more Batman projects, more Batman on film than we've seen in a long time. And it's a lot to look forward to. I really liked Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and he will be back for the TV series, which is awesome. But, I also want the other stuff. I want Green Lantern. I want Ray Fisher back as Cyborg. Like, I want all those things to happen. And a lot of people keep making comments about Ray Fisher, and I haven't talked about Ray Fisher because there's nothing to talk about. He's made it clear he is not coming back until the old regime is gone. He wants nothing to do with Warner Brothers, and the last person that needs to go is actually Walter Hamada, and he is going in October, so he's only got a couple of months left. And I think we'll start seeing some more announcements at that stage because that's when they did the Fandome last year. There hasn't been an announcement this year. People keep asking me too, are they going to do the Fandome? I don't know. They haven't made any announcements. Warner Brothers Discovery is not slowing down. They're going in, axing things left and right. They're talking about moving things around. They are definitely being strategic about what they're doing. And I think this is going to bode well for the fans and for the DC universe. I finally think that we have people in place that care about these characters are going to do them justice. And Warner Brothers has not done justice to these characters in many, many years. I've talked about it before. They started screwing up with Superman 2, and they've been meddling in these movies ever since. This is a good sign. So look at the news yesterday, not as a negative, but as a positive for all of us. We're going to get more Batman. We're going to get more of these DC heroes. We can't complain about that. I hope they fast-track the Batman 2. I would like to see what Reeves does. I think that second film is really going to be indicative of what he is going to be capable of going forward. If that film does not show any growth in the character, I don't think it's going to do well. I do not want a slow-talking, slow-moving amateur like he seemed in that last film. There has to be a major, major jump forward with his growth as a character. All right, so what do you guys think about this news? I appreciate the support, and if anything else big happens before next week, I will be doing another update, so stick to my channel, subscribe if you haven't, and you will be notified, and hit the notification bell too, so that when my videos do go live, you'll get a notification of it so you don't miss any of my DC updates. I also review movies and TV shows. Those things are coming as well, so know that my channel is not just DC, but it is going to be my main focus. But I also review movies and TV shows, food, and other things coming down the pike as well. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video.